The morning sun filtered through the blinds of Mark's Seattle home, casting slanted rays across the bathroom's cream-colored rug. Barefoot, he stepped inside, his mind already on the day's engineering deadlines. A faint glimmer caught his eye, a metallic flicker nestled in the rug's fibers. Curious, he crouched, brushing aside the soft pile to reveal a small foil circle, barely noticeable against the rug's hue. Sunlight betrayed its presence, glinting like a whispered secret. Mark picked it up, turning it between his fingers. It was the backing from a birth control pill, the kind left behind when a tablet is pressed out. One side bore a faint marking, Tuesday. Today was Wednesday. The pill was from yesterday. His brow furrowed. Birth control? The thought jarred him. 2 years ago, after their second child, he'd had a vasectomy. Lauren, his wife of 9 years, had no need for pills. She'd always been fortunate, her cycles free of the cramps or irregularities that plagued others. So why this? His mind raced, grasping for innocent explanations. Could it be medication for something else? A hormone supplement? But the foil's design was unmistakable, identical to the strips Lauren used before his procedure, back when they weren't trying for kids. He flipped it over again, as if it might reveal a different truth. None came. The air felt heavier, the bathroom's quiet amplifying his pulse. Mark's thoughts veered to darker places. Illness? No, their recent health checkups had been clean, shared openly over coffee as they laughed about aging. If not illness, then what? The foil suggested one chilling possibility. Lauren was protecting herself from pregnancy, by someone else. The word infidelity slithered into his mind, cold and sharp. He pushed it away, but it clung, rooting itself in the silence. He slipped the foil into his pocket and closed the bathroom door, his engineer's precision taking over. If the foil was here, the pills were likely nearby. He scanned the room, his gaze settling on the cabinet under the sink. Behind a box of tampons, tucked beneath a bottle of aspirin, he found it. A familiar strip of pills, half empty, matching the foil in his hand. His stomach twisted. This wasn't a mistake. Lauren was taking them again in secret. Mark replaced the strip exactly as he'd found it, his hands steady despite the storm in his chest. Confronting her now would be reckless. He needed proof, a plan. 9 years of marriage, 2 kids, a home, a life hung in the balance. He couldn't let emotion cloud his judgment. Lauren's routine hadn't changed, or so he thought. She left for her marketing job each morning, returned to kiss their kids goodnight, and shared quiet dinners with him. Had he missed the signs? Was she that good at hiding? He stepped into the hallway, the kids' laughter drifting from the kitchen where their nanny, Clara, prepared breakfast. Sophie, 5, and James, 2, were his world. The thought that Lauren might be betraying them, too, ignited a spark of anger. But doubt gnawed at him. What if he was wrong? What if this was nothing? He needed facts, not assumptions. At his home office, Mark powered up his laptop, his fingers moving with purpose. He ordered DNA test kits to confirm his children's paternity, a precaution that felt like a betrayal of his own heart. Next, he purchased discreet surveillance tools. Tiny cameras for the living room and bedroom, recorders for Lauren's car and bag. He hesitated over a phone cloning kit, knowing it would cross a line. But trust was already fractured. He added it to the cart. As the orders processed, Mark leaned back, staring at the ceiling. He and Lauren had met a decade ago at a downtown bar. He was fresh out of grad school, an ambitious engineer. She was a marketing assistant, sharp and driven. Their connection wasn't instant, but her wit and warmth won him over. A year of dating led to marriage at 29. Sophie and James followed, cementing what seemed like a perfect life. Lauren returned to work after each maternity leave, her career a point of pride. Mark co-founded an engineering firm, thriving despite modest profits. They weren't rich, but they were happy, or so he believed. Now that belief crumbled. Who was involved? Someone from her office? Her boss? Tom, a charismatic executive she often praised? How long had it been going on? The hardest question cut deepest. Were Sophie and James truly his? The thought made his chest ache. but he forced it aside. Facts first. Mark's phone buzzed. A text from Rachel, his assistant. Team meeting at 10. Need anything prepped? Rachel, 35, was the backbone of his firm, her professionalism unwavering despite her own past. A messy divorce from an abusive partner. She'd confided in Mark once, grateful for his respect when others at the firm hadn't shown it. He trusted her implicitly. All good, thanks, he replied, then paused. Rachel's loyalty could be an asset. He needed someone to confide in, someone who could help him think clearly. But involving her felt risky. What if she judged him? What if word spread? He pushed the thought aside. For now, he'd work alone. The packages would arrive at his office by Friday, avoiding Lauren's notice. Until then, he'd watch her, searching for cracks in her routine. Last night, she'd kissed him goodnight, her touch familiar, her smile warm. Nothing seemed off. Either she was innocent or she was a master of deception. The latter scared him more. Mark stood, pocketing the foil again, its weight a reminder of the truth he sought. He'd play the part of the devoted husband, biding his time. Lauren would be home soon, and he'd smile, laugh, pretend. But inside, a fire burned, a resolve to uncover her secrets and protect what was his. The game had begun, and Mark intended to win. Mark's Seattle office hummed with the quiet rhythm of a Thursday morning, but his mind was a storm. The foil wrapper, still tucked in his pocket, burned like a silent accusation. Since finding the birth control pills 2 days ago, he'd barely slept, his nights spent replaying Lauren's every word, every glance. Was she hiding an affair? The question gnawed at him, but he clung to his plan: gather evidence, stay sharp, and trust no one until the truth emerged. The surveillance gear and DNA kits were due tomorrow, discreetly shipped to his office to avoid Lauren's notice. Until then, Mark watched her, cataloging her routine for signs of deceit. She left for her marketing job at 7:30 a.m., kissed Sophie and James goodbye, and returned by 6 p.m. for dinner. Their evenings were mundane, homework with Sophie, bedtime stories for James, and quiet chats over wine. Lauren's warmth felt genuine, her laughter easy. Either she was innocent or she'd mastered a double life. The thought chilled him. At his desk, Mark sipped coffee, its bitterness mirroring his mood. His phone buzzed, a text from Rachel, his assistant. Files for the Portland pitch are ready. Anything else? Rachel's efficiency was a lifeline, her loyalty unquestioned after years of working side by side. She'd once shared her own scars, a divorce from a controlling ex who'd tried to sabotage her career. Mark had stood by her, earning her trust. Now he wondered if she could help him navigate this mess. Can we talk privately? He typed, hesitating before hitting send. Involving Rachel risked exposing his vulnerability, but he needed a sounding board, someone to keep him grounded. Her reply came instantly: my office, 10 minutes. Rachel's office was a small, organized haven, its walls adorned with framed quotes about resilience. She closed the door, her green eyes sharp but kind. What's up, Mark? You look like hell. He exhaled, the foil heavy in his pocket. It's Lauren. I found something. He recounted the discovery, the foil, the pills, his vasectomy, and watched her expression shift from curiosity to concern. I'm setting up surveillance, DNA tests for the kids. I need to know if she's cheating, and if he faltered, the words catching. If Sophie and James are mine. Rachel leaned forward, her voice steady. That's a lot, Mark. But you're doing the right thing, getting facts, not jumping to conclusions. What do you need from me? Perspective, he said. And maybe help keeping this quiet. I can't let emotion cloud my judgment, but it's hard. If she's lying, what does that say about 9 years? About our family? She nodded, her gaze unwavering. You're not alone in this. I'll cover for you at work, handle anything that needs discretion. But promise me you'll stay focused. Don't let this break you. Her words anchored him, a reminder of the stakes. Thanks, Rachel. I mean it. Back at his desk, Mark's resolve hardened. That evening, Lauren cooked pasta, laughing as James smeared sauce on his chin. Mark played along, but his eyes lingered on her phone, left carelessly on the counter. He'd ordered a cloning kit, but accessing her device would require stealth. Their intimacy, once routine, now felt like a minefield. When she leaned in for a kiss, he tensed, murmuring about a headache. Her frown was fleeting, but it lingered in his mind. Friday morning, the packages arrived at his office. Mark locked his door, unpacking the DNA kits, cameras, recorders, and a burner phone for cloning. His heart raced. This was real now, no turning back. He left work early, citing a client call, and headed home while Clara, the nanny, fed the kids lunch. In the living room, he hid a camera behind a bookshelf, its lens trained on the sofa. Another went in the bedroom, angled to catch the bed. The bathroom felt too invasive, so he skipped it, focusing instead on Lauren's car and bag for recorders. That evening, Lauren showered, her purse unattended. Mark seized the moment, slipping the cloning kit into action. He connected her phone to the burner, watching data transfer in agonizing seconds. When she emerged, towel-wrapped, he was back on the couch, scrolling his own phone. "Long day?" she asked, oblivious. He nodded, forcing a smile. The clone data revealed little at first: work emails, texts to friends, nothing damning. But a pattern emerged: vague messages to an unsaved number like "can't wait to see you" and "usual spot, 3 p.m." No names, no specifics. Mark's pulse quickened. Was this proof, or was he paranoid? Rachel's voice echoed, "Facts, not assumptions." Saturday passed in a blur of family time, Sophie's soccer game, James's nap. Mark kept up the facade, but his mind was on the cameras. Sunday night, while Lauren read to the kids, he retrieved the first recordings. The living room feed was mundane, but the bedroom footage stopped him cold. On Saturday, while he cooked dinner, Lauren had slipped into their room, not to shower, but to text from a second phone, one he'd never seen. She pulled it from the vent above their dresser, typed quickly, then hid it again. The vent was empty when he checked later, meaning she took it with her. Mark's breath caught. A secret phone? This wasn't casual. He confided in Rachel the next morning, meeting her at a coffee shop before work. "She's hiding a second phone," he said, voice low. "I saw her use it, then stash it in a vent. I need to clone it, but she's careful." Rachel's jaw tightened. "That's not innocent, Mark. Nobody hides a phone unless they're covering something big. What's your next move?" "Clone it when she's distracted," he said. "And keep watching. The DNA results are due Wednesday. If the kids aren't mine," he trailed off, the weight of it crushing. She touched his arm, a rare gesture. "You're stronger than this. But think about the kids. Exposing Lauren could hurt them. Are you ready for that?" The question hit hard. Sophie's gap-toothed smile, James's clumsy hugs, they were his, biology or not. Could he tear their world apart? "I don't know," he admitted. "But I can't live a lie." Rachel nodded. "Then keep going. But be smart. If she's cheating, she's not just betraying you, she's risking your family. You deserve the truth." That night, Mark feigned a work call, retreating to his office. Lauren's purse sat by the door, but the second phone wasn't there. She'd taken it or hidden it elsewhere. He checked the vent again, empty. Frustration surged, but he forced calm. The cameras would catch her eventually. Until then, he'd play the devoted husband, masking the fire building inside. As he lay beside Lauren that night, her breathing soft, Mark stared at the ceiling. The DNA results loomed, a ticking clock. If they confirmed his worst fears, his next steps would change everything. For now, he was a hunter, tracking a truth that could destroy him or set him free. Mark's Seattle home was a stage, and he played his role flawlessly. By Monday, a week after finding the foil wrapper, he'd become a master of pretense, smiling through breakfast with Lauren while his surveillance net tightened. The hidden cameras and recorders hummed silently, capturing her every move, but the second phone, the key to her secrets, remained elusive. Lauren carried it with her, or hid it beyond his reach. The DNA results, due Wednesday, loomed like a storm on the horizon, threatening to shatter his world. At his engineering firm, Mark buried himself in work, the Portland pitch a welcome distraction. Rachel, his assistant, was his anchor, her steady presence a reminder to stay focused. Over coffee that morning, he'd shared the latest. Lauren's secret phone, used in their bedroom vent, was a bombshell. Rachel's eyes had narrowed. "She's playing a dangerous game, Mark. You need that phone. And you need to be ready for those DNA results. Whatever they say, you'll get through this." Her words echoed as he drove home, the burner phone in his glove box holding cloned data from Lauren's primary device. The vague texts to an unsaved number, "Meet me at 3, miss you," were incriminating but not definitive. He needed more. That evening, Lauren was her usual self, helping Sophie with math while James doodled nearby. Mark watched her, searching for cracks in her facade. When she stepped out to take a call, he checked her purse, no second phone. She was too careful. Tuesday night, opportunity struck. Lauren showered, leaving her coat draped over a chair. Mark rifled through its pockets, his heart pounding. Tucked inside a hidden lining, he found it. A sleek, black phone, passcode protected. He connected it to the cloning kit, the data transfer agonizingly slow. The shower shut off. He slipped the phone back, retreating to the couch just as Lauren emerged, humming softly. "You okay?" she asked, her eyes lingering. "Just tired," he lied, forcing a smile. By Wednesday morning, the cloned data revealed a truth that gutted him. Messages between Lauren and T detailed secret meetings at a downtown hotel, intimate moments described in ways that excluded Mark. T was Tom, her boss, his charisma, his late-night work, dinners with Lauren, now cast in a sinister light. The text spanned months, maybe years. Mark's hands shook as he read, rage and grief colliding. How had he been so blind? At the office, he confided in Rachel, his voice raw. It's Tom. Her boss. They've been meeting behind my back. I don't know how long, but it's real. Rachel's face hardened. That's low even for her. What now? The DNA results, he said. They're online today. I can't look yet. If the kids aren't mine, he choked, the weight of it unbearable. Rachel took his phone, her fingers steady. Let me. She clicked the link, her expression unreadable as she scanned the results. Finally, she met his eyes, her voice soft. I'm so sorry, Mark. Neither Sophie nor James is yours. They share a father, likely Tom. The room spun. Mark gripped his desk, his world collapsing. Sophie's laughter, James's clumsy hugs, they were his, yet not. Lauren hadn't just betrayed him, she'd built their family on a lie. Rage surged, hot and blinding, but Rachel's hand on his arm steadied him. You're not alone, she said. But you need a plan. Revenge can wait, protect yourself first. She was right. Mark called Lisa, a divorce attorney recommended by a colleague. In her sleek downtown office, Lisa listened as he recounted the evidence, the pills, the texts, the DNA. You've got a strong case, she said, her tone brisk. Washington's a no-fault state, but infidelity can sway asset division, especially with a prenup. I assume you have one. Mark nodded, recalling the agreement signed when he co-founded his firm. Good. We'll serve Lauren papers publicly, maximum impact. But we need more proof to nail Tom's involvement. Mark's mind raced. The cameras. They're still running. Lisa nodded. Check them. And consider allies. Anyone else hurt by Tom? Rachel had an idea. Over lunch, she pitched it, Tom's wife, Emily. If she suspects him, she could be our edge. Mark hesitated, reaching out felt risky, but Rachel was insistent. I know her through a mutual friend. Let me make a call. By evening, Emily agreed to meet, her voice taut with suspicion. At a quiet cafe, she confirmed Tom's late nights and evasive behavior. If you have proof, she said, I'm in. I want him to pay. The alliance was a game-changer. Emily's resolve mirrored Mark's, her own betrayal fueling their cause. Back home, he retrieved the latest camera footage while Lauren was at a work event. The living room feed was routine, but the bedroom footage was a dagger. On Monday, while Mark worked late, Tom had entered their home, led in by Lauren. James ran to him, shouting, Dad? Tom ruffled his hair, smiling. Mark's vision blurred with tears. His son called another man Dad. He shared the video with Rachel and Emily, their outrage matching his. This ends now, Emily said. I'm suing his company for ethics violations. You focus on Lauren. Mark nodded, his anger sharpening into purpose. To buy time, he feigned a work trip, telling Lauren he'd be in Portland overnight. Miss you already, she texted, her words hollow. He didn't reply. At Rachel's apartment, where he crashed to avoid Lauren, Mark wrestled with a new dilemma. Exposing her would upend Sophie and James's lives. Could he hurt them to punish her? Rachel's words from days ago echoed, Are you ready for that? He wasn't sure, but the truth was a freight train, unstoppable. The clone phone, the video, the DNA, they were his weapons. Lauren's world would crumble, but at what cost? As he lay awake, the Portland lie a shield, Mark's resolve hardened. Tomorrow, he'd meet Lisa again, planning the public reckoning. Lauren and Tom thought they'd outsmarted him, but they'd underestimated his fire. The truth was his now, and he'd wield it like a blade. Mark stood in the quiet of his Seattle home, the echo of Lauren's departure still lingering. It was Friday, a day after the confrontation that had unraveled 9 years of marriage. The divorce papers served publicly at her office and the media packet exposing her affair with Tom had shattered her world. Sophie and James, now with Lauren at her parents' house, were no longer his, a truth confirmed by DNA. Yet, as Mark packed a bag to leave the house, a strange calm settled. The lies were gone. He was free. Rachel's apartment, where he'd taken refuge, was a lifeline. Her spare room, lined with books and soft light, felt like a sanctuary. Over the past week, her unwavering support had been his anchor, organizing the media packet, coordinating with Lisa, his attorney, and offering quiet strength when grief threatened to drown him. Last night, her hug had sparked something unspoken, a warmth he wasn't ready to name. For now, he focused on the next steps, securing his future and rebuilding from the ashes. Lisa's office was their first stop that morning. Lauren's fighting back, she warned, sliding a document across her desk. She's filed for a restraining order and temporary custody of the house, claiming it's the kid's home. We expected this, but it complicates things. Mark's jaw tightened. Can she win? Lisa shook her head. Unlikely. The prenup protects your firm and the house is in your name. Her infidelity and the DNA evidence weaken her case. But we need to countersue fast. Rachel, seated beside him, spoke up. What about her job? The lawsuit Emily filed against Tom's company, does it help? Lisa nodded. It's a pressure point. Emily's suit cites workplace ethics violations and Tom's been fired. Lauren's implicated too. Her firm's offering a settlement to avoid bad press. We're demanding $750,000 for you, Mark, citing emotional distress and fraudulent paternity. It'll cover your debts. Mark exhaled, the numbers grounding him. His firm, valued at $20 million, was safe thanks to the prenup, but liquidating personal assets had left him strapped. The settlement, plus a separate $500,000 from Emily's suit against Tom, would clear his loans and give him a fresh start. Do it, he said. And sell the house. I can't live there anymore. By Monday, the legal gears were turning. Lauren's restraining order was granted temporarily, barring Mark from the house within 100 meters. He moved fully into Rachel's place, his clothes in her closet, his laptop on her desk. Their routine was oddly seamless: morning coffee, shared drives to the office, quiet dinners. Rachel stayed professional, but her small gestures, a hand on his shoulder, a knowing smile, hinted at deeper feelings. Mark felt it too, but guilt held him back. Was he ready to trust again? At the office, Mark threw himself into work, mentoring young engineers to channel his energy. A visit to his parents' graves that week brought clarity. Kneeling by their headstones, he whispered, I lost my family, but I'm still here. I'll make you proud. The words were a vow to rebuild, to find purpose. He thought of Sophie and James, their faces etched in his heart. He might never see them again, but he'd loved them fiercely. That was enough. Lauren's world, meanwhile, collapsed. Her firm demoted her, her social circle evaporated, and her parents, though supportive, couldn't shield her from shame. Tom, stripped of his job and marriage, moved to a small apartment, his career in tatters. Emily's lawsuit had secured her a hefty settlement, and she'd started over, free of his shadow. Mark felt no joy in their ruin, only justice. They'd reaped what they sowed. 2 months later, the divorce finalized. Lauren signed the papers, accepting half of their joint account, $9,443, and no claim to Mark's firm. The house sold, covering his debts with a small surplus. At his office, Rachel knocked, holding an envelope. It's official, she said, her voice soft. You're a free man. Mark opened it, the decree, a weight lifted. He looked at her, her green eyes bright with something new. Before he could speak, Rachel stepped closer. 9 years, she said, her voice trembling. I watched you build a life, never once crossing a line. You're the most honest man I know, Mark. I've waited for this moment, and now you're free. Let me show you not every heart lies. She leaned in, her kiss fierce and full of promise. Mark froze, then melted into it, the warmth of her lips a balm to his scars. When they parted, he was breathless, his heart racing. Rachel, he started, but she smiled, pressing a finger to his lips. We're a team, always have been. Give me a chance to prove we're more. Memories flooded him, her loyalty, her laughter, her strength through his darkest days. He'd loved her quietly, he realized, buried beneath duty to Lauren. Now it was clear as daylight. I don't want to lose you, he said, his voice raw. Let's try. Her smile was radiant, a beacon of hope. They stood there, hands entwined, the future unwritten but bright. That evening, Mark spoke at a local engineering meetup, sharing lessons from his firm's growth. The crowd's applause filled him with purpose. Back at Rachel's, they cooked dinner, their laughter a new melody. Lauren and Tom were shadows now, their betrayal a stepping stone to something better. Mark had lost a family but gained a truth: he was enough. With Rachel by his side, he'd build a life stronger than before, rooted in trust and love.